aggressively. Now, let's also talk about Nvidia's earnings report that came out yesterday. It was very interesting. They missed for the second quarter on revenue. It came in lighter than expected, largely due to the fact that they were not able to book as much China revenue as the street had expected. But at the same time, Nvidia gave bullish guidance relative to what the street expected for the upcoming third quarter. So that was seen as quite interesting. Immediately, the stock fell 5% yesterday in trading, but now it recovered about 4%, and it is only down roughly 1% since yesterday's earnings. Now look, one thing you have to always consider with a massive name like Nvidia, especially an expensive name like Nvidia, you have to consider the implied volatility that was expected before the earnings came out relative to what actually happened. You know, credible street like investment banks like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley estimated that you can get up to a 10% move in Nvidia stock up or down based on the earnings report. So believe it or not, we are 24 hours later and it's only down 1%. Actually implies it was not such a significant move, and these misses were minor relative to what Wall Street had expected. If they hadn't given that guidance that was bullish, then it would be a very different story, because right now Wall Street would have been freaking out over their missed earnings, their lost China revenue stream, and how expensive they've bid this company up that has now lost one of its main growth prospects, which is selling chips to China. So I think Nvidia played it well. They were able to avoid what could have been a very messy and bad press release by giving that guidance. But now they have to obviously match that guidance. If you begin missing quarter after quarter on revenue, eventually Wall Street will stop being lenient and you will get punished in the form of lower stock prices and lower multiples if that were to happen. So that's something we will be tracking on this podcast very closely over the next 90 days. So I hope you guys stay for that as well.